We have an NSFW thing that has happened with V, and people are very shocked about that. We have a new tattoo apparently being revealed or talked about, and then we have the CEO giving a warning about what is going on. So hey Dumplings, it's Dave Desai. Let's get into it. The CEO of HYBE recently gave a warning to everyone at a speaking engagement. This was a little bit shocking because I think the warning felt very out of place, as a lot of people have been very excited for the recent success of Squid Game, as a lot of people were finally feeling like Korea made headway into the global market. A lot of things that are popular in Korea just stay popular in Korea, and Squid Game is seen as not just success for Korean culture, but success for the Korean drama industry. I mean, however you dice it, while the show was meant for an international release, it has Korean culture embedded all over it. Even during the first season, where you see people get down to their knees and start begging, this is not something you see very much in American TV shows or American culture. I mean, but even just the fact that you can't kill a pregnant woman, so she had to have the baby come out first before she died. And also knowing that if you follow Korean culture, they don't like to kill babies off in shows. The baby was never going to die. I mean, the moment it was born, a lot of people knew who the winner was supposed to be. I say this to emphasize a lot of the culture in this show, even though it was meant for America's viewing pleasure, right? Now you might be wondering why the CEO of HYBE would even say something like this or even have a warning for this, because this is something that should be seen as a positive light, or anything Korean making it to an international global stage is supposed to be positive. But it's warning until people feeling jealous or people feeling hatred towards the success of Squid Game. So specifically different cultures and different people from all around the world feeling hatred that Squid Game is getting all of the success, and would inevitably push people to give the other Korean entertainment stuff less of a chance. So the reason why the CEO of this label is talking about it is because they're scared that the success of Squid Game is going to make people hate K-pop music. It's one of those things where if things become overrated, suddenly a lot of people hate on it. But instead of just simply being that, this time it's wrapped up into other cultures who have tried to enter the US market but failed, and now are going to be attacking Squid Game. The Latin market, for example, is a big one, right? I don't know if they have made huge attempts to enter the US market and failed, but I believe that they have succeeded. We have several songs, but just using that as an example, you could see the success of another culture in America making them get jealous or angry if they didn't succeed, right? Now, when I'm saying this, I'm not trying to offend anyone in that market or anyone who's a fan of the Latin market, but I'm just using an example, right? I just want to emphasize that. I do see where he's coming from with this. I mean, the logic makes sense. I don't necessarily know if this is how people think nowadays. I could be wrong, because people get jealous and people get angry over anything, right? So this can definitely happen. But I just don't know if hyping something up this much is something that is bad, and the general reaction to when the CEO said this was that the CEO was just jealous that they couldn't get their own artists in the show, because there were a lot of K-pop stars in the show, right? So I don't know how I feel about this, or if there is a translation error and this is not exactly what he said, but I will definitely leave that up to you guys. Just a shameless plug over here, if you are interested in checking out the Patreon, it has thousands of reaction videos on there where I react to various different music videos, as well as just cute and funny moments, some BTS, some not, but whatever you're interested in, there is definitely content of that. Right now there is a $1 tier where you just pay $1 a month and you get access to the thousands of videos on there. Any amount you choose to donate will of course go towards keeping the channel going and making sure I'm able to keep making videos like this, because it is getting harder and harder to sustain this, as of course everything is very unstable on YouTube. So if you're interested in supporting as well as getting that content, then make sure you check it out. I'll leave a link at the top of the description for the Patreon. Moving on, some people are really excited over Jimin getting a new tattoo, or people believing that he had one. It was a recent live stream where V and RM decided to live stream or FaceTime Jimin. During the stream, you can see both people and they were kind of chatting with each other. RM and V mentioned that you could see Jimin's tattoos, and some people thought that it was a new Jimin tattoo. Now, of course, if you've been following Jimin and his career for a little while, then obviously you would know that he has this tattoo for a really long time, and this is the tattoo that is on his ribs. This was shown as he was wearing a somewhat see-through shirt. He ended up covering his little nip area, and he ended up showing where his ribs were and where that tattoo was. This is the Nevermind tattoo, and it was visible a long time ago. Back in the early days, there was one performance that Jimin did where he was dancing and he was shirtless. So this dates way back, I would say 2014, 2015 era. So Obviously, he's had this for a really long time. V and RM were also talking about how he had his moon and other tattoos visible too. This is also a tattoo that he had for a really long time, and I think a lot of people were a bit surprised at how visible it was during the stream and how he was essentially pretty much shirtless because it was so see-through. Unfortunately, if you did get a tattoo and he was trying to hide that from us, he would not have been wearing the see-through shirt. He probably felt as if him wearing a see-through shirt was not actually him showing anything because there was nothing to be shown. Nothing new, at least maybe not, I don't know. But I actually do believe that we are eventually going to see the boys get tattoos, and new ones in particular. I think they might get more stuff maybe during this new promotion era that they're doing, and I think it's going to be things that are going to mark the comeback and that sort of stuff, if that makes any sense. That will definitely be really exciting to see, and hopefully it'll be something that will showcase more of their personality and more of their deep thoughts. I know with Jimin and his moon tattoo as well as the Nevermind tattoo, that was supposed to express more things about himself. The moon typically represents people and their faces and all that stuff, but Jimin just didn't get one moon, he got the phases of the moon, which shows a transformation, and that tattoo represents more of his own transformation in his own career. Of course, artists are always developing, right? And it's different from maybe most of us, where at a certain point we just kind of settle for where we are at and we just kind of stick to where we're at. So typically we'll slow down in development or not develop at all past like 30 maybe. At this point, we know who we are, we know what our careers look like, and we kind of just stay there. But an artist has to always constantly develop because their art has to always constantly develop. But also they themselves live a very fast-paced life, so they're just going to develop faster anyway. I imagine that's how he felt when he got the moon tattoo. Is probably very different from how he feels now. Doesn't mean that he doesn't relate to those tattoos anymore, but it might mean that he would want another tattoo. But that was not all that was exposed recently, and I think a lot of people were very shocked at what happened. Recently, V and JK were on a live stream together, and they were in a cab, or their manager was driving them around. Their phone was then put in front of them. There's probably a table or something in front of them, and they were able to record both of them dancing and having fun. This got a little bit weird as people started to notice that V was wearing gray sweatpants. Now, if you're not aware of this recent trend with men wearing sweatpants, specifically gray sweatpants, they tend to be really loose, but also kind of drapes over you. And if you have a male body part that's well endowed, it will show. And then what happened was V apparently had his thing show, or what people think was his male anatomy. A lot of people were saying that they had no words for this and that they were just staring at it and they had no idea what was going on outside of looking at that. Of course, this is interesting because at the same time, V obviously would be aware, or should be aware, of what he's doing when he does something like this, right? Especially given the angle and just how the camera is looking at both things. It obviously would show that specific body part. Of course, half of that is on him and him doing that, but the other half, I'm wondering just if it's uncomfortable for him or the other boys if they're going to go online and see people say this, or are they going to get uncomfortable because now news sites are talking about this too. So it was trending online with news sites as well as on X. So now millions of people, let's say best case scenarios, just hundreds of thousands of people are talking about it. Still a lot of people. I mean, we couldn't deal with him being shirtless. Imagine seeing something like this. Of course, the internet is going to go crazy. Some people wonder what V's reaction would be to reading comments like this, and who actually knows what he would actually say. But I think a lot of people would hope or assume that it wouldn't bother him that much, as this is something that he put out himself. And of course, people are going to look at stuff like that. I mean, even when they're just posting a selfie of them walking down and he's wearing a shirt and jeans, people are going to be looking at him in inappropriate ways. But that also doesn't mean that he can't choose to be uncomfortable with that anyway, and how people are perceiving him, especially when it could be something like this. And it's supposed to be an accident, right? So we definitely won't know. A lot of people are just hoping he's fine, and I definitely thought this was an interesting thing to wake up to, as it was something that the community seemed to have made a big deal about, and it was not only trending online, but as I said, there were headlines about it, which is kind of crazy that this is something that is huge headlines when it's not even like a leaked photo or like an actual sex tape. It's just pants. Let me know what you think. Make sure to check out Patreon for more videos, linked down below. Thank you to this lovely comment right here. Mwah, love you, bye.